Alrighty, it's been a couple of days for me, but we're back. So, proper conversion. Definitely should have been a. So when you, definitely should have been an ideal conversion with that. So, etc. Yeah. So missed optimization, and in fact, worse than that, missed the confirm into continued offense into knockdown. So you lost a big momentum swing here by not getting this stand fierce on hit. Luckily, like, these are situations where you can simply just train them in training mode over and over, and then your brain will adjust automatically. They're not complex situations. It's just put random block on, and then on hit, when you do that setup, get the proper conversion. You would have had how much higher drive gauge after the fact? You would have regenerated 2.2 bars of drive gauge in addition to putting them at half health. Instead, you messed up the conversion. And then only regenerated like 0.7 bars of drive gauge, and then got counter hit, and thus allowing Dulcim to get out of the corner. And then when you spent your next drive gauge, overspending perhaps. I don't mind overspending against Dulcim, but you definitely want to make sure that if you go back to neutral, you spend your drive gauge immediately, so you burn out on your own terms with maximizing your value on burnout instead of just letting him burn you out. So here, right, I would have said, okay, like, very difficult to avoid burnout in this circumstance, so I would have said, like, just dash up and then, like, low forward drive rush, cancel, right? Would have been better. Alright, so this guy's throwing out some random back heavy punches just in anticipation of the dive kick. Not confident in his anti-airs against dive kick on reaction. When he goes into float like this, so when he goes into float like this, his range like gets cut in half. So his jump medium punch like that hits pretty far, but the main thing you need to be worried about is his jump heavy punch when he's in float. Let me demonstrate a couple of scenarios with Dulcim. So raw spiral arrow is very good against Dulcim, etc. And then in terms of drive rushes, drive rush into active buttons like back medium punch is very good. Drive rush into stand heavy kick is very good, etc. So if Dulcim does the lowest float possible, so there's two floats that you have to be worried about. If he jumps and then does an immediate float, that will get tagged by drive rush heavy kick. Okay? Now, what Garnet is likely to do is float from up here. Okay? He's going to manually time his float so that he's at a higher spacing than that, and that will make it so that his teleports are more awkward, because he'll be above your stand jab when he teleports a lot of the time. And, stuff like that. Now, when he does, like, teleport from a higher up space, like, let's say, I'll demonstrate this first. Hang on. So, yes, Garnet is liable to do higher floats, like about up here. So, the highest thing that you have, so, Drive Rush Stand Heavy Kick will hit low floats. Drive Rush Back Roundhouse will not work as far, but like will hit slightly farther into the air, but not as far as up here. The important thing to understand about his float is that his horizontal range cuts in half. The ironic thing about Dulcim is that when he's on the ground, the most threatening thing he has is stopping your air approach with a counter hit. If he checks your dive kick with that on counter hit, you're going to eat a boatload of damage, and he has great routes into his level 1. Okay? But when he's floating, it's the opposite. His anti-air conversions, he can check your aerial movement with that or something, but that's all you get. You just get hit by one heavy or one medium or something. Whereas if you do a grounded approach and he falls down on you with jump heavy punch, that's where his damage is. So when he's on the ground, the most dangerous thing to do is air approach. When he's in the air, the most dangerous thing to do is ground approach, etc. So, anyways. So raw drill beats a lot of his buttons very easily. But he's liable to try to read it with a quick float. As such. So the float is the most deadly thing that we want to be dealing with. If he's floating up here, so if he's floating down here, Drive Rush Heavy Kick is quite good. Drive Impact is quite good. Again, if they float at the lowest height possible, which a lot of like more amateur Dulcim players are wont to do, DI will hit a low float, Drive Rush Heavy Kick will hit a low float, regular Heavy Kick will hit a low float, etc. So low float is like, if you see an amateur Dulcim doing a lot of low float, that's not as hard to deal with as is higher float like this. So anyways, if we were to look at this Dulcim, when did he float? Yeah, he's doing the lowest float possible. Okay, he's just doing an immediate float. Not the trickiest thing to deal with. Now, against higher floats, the highest thing that you can hit with is Drive Rush Back Medium Punch. That being said, I don't recommend just throwing this out when you see him floating, because his horizontal range, even when his horizontal range is nerfed like this, when he's floating like this, just be wary and learn the exact spacing of his forward heavy punch, where he floats forward and does heavy punch like that. Learn the spacing of that, and then stick around that range, and then try to anticipate and deal with that. All of his other jump-in buttons are not that threatening in this instance. Like, medium kick will tag you, but it's like, whatever. Medium punch will tag you. Sometimes, if he does a higher float like that, if you're standing up, he has to be at the lowest float possible for medium punch to tag you. So if he's higher up like that, medium punch is not an issue. It's just medium kick, which is not very plus on hit or on block, and then heavy punch is obviously the big one. Now, depending on the height of his float, he may not be able to convert this. See, if he's only plus 10, like this, he has to be at a very, very specific height in the float for him to be at least plus 12 to convert this into crouch medium punch. If he's higher than that, he cannot get a solid conversion off of this. Except for if he's wanting to do a raw confirm into the 10 frame startup light super, which most Dulcim players, even extremely strong ones like Garnet, do not do this. It's technically possible, but you won't see this happen. So, that is the understanding of like the space of what you need to be concerned about. So, in terms of hanging out around Dulcim's higher float into whatever, if you're out of range of it, you can react to him falling and roundhouse. So that is one option. If you space yourself out of the range, now the awkward part of this is because he can choose to do it forward or neutral or backwards, the spacing becomes more difficult. But this is one thing that you can do if he whiffs this button from a modest float height. Other things, you can just hard commit to certain anti-air buttons while being modestly outside of his range, and you're liable to tag him some of the time, and so long as you're outside of his threatening range. But if you are wrong, you will get counter hit, so that is a detrimental part of this. So when you're outside of these ranges, certain anti-airs are pretty effective. The very active ones, like Crouch Fierce or Back Medium Punch, are liable to tag him, but it's always risky. Jump is, again, the safer approach. It's not necessarily as liable to beat everything that he can do, but you're going to take much less damage if you air approach him when he's floating. because he'll just do like one jump, light punch, medium punch, or heavy kick to hit you out of the air. Now, another thing that you can do is near the end of his floats, if he's been floating for a while and he's nearing the end of his floats, you can come in with a drill. And drill will be incredibly active and is more liable to trade if he comes down with a jump in button or if he just floats downwards. Now, near the end of his floats, if he's been floating for a little bit, he has to do something, okay? It's kind of like if you've played anime fighters, if the opponent like spends their air dash or their double jump, you know that they no longer have certain aerial options, so you can chase them down harder once you see they've committed to their second aerial option that they get. So in that instance, if Dulcim just floats out like that, we can commit to drill, and it's liable to trade if he does a jump in button or whatever else. But if he does like a fireball, it's not that bad because he won't be able to combo off of that. Or if he does a teleport, he may be able to punish it, probably not, etc. So that kind of thing is important to understand about the matchup as well. Alright, anyways, I said that I was just going to stick to talking about offense stuff. A lot of his, like, upwards fireball like that shit is just kind of, you know, whatever. You can just come in with drill, you can spike in with drill, it's not that bad. You have to be quite quick on it to get a punish for it, but you can reactively punish it from very far away. And this is his lightest fireball possible, and as soon as you do this, you basically cleared the space necessary anyways. When he does, like, cancels or whatever, he'll do, like, maybe, like, crouch medium punch into the up fireball, and that's obviously, there's ways of punishing that if you react to that, but he's mainly just hoping that you'll automatically jump at any cancel that you see, so that you jump into the air fireball, and that's where he will, again, get his heavier, less meter-dependent combos. So all this approach is, like, not that bad. Like, you can eat, like, fucking 5 of these goddamn pokes, and it's, like, nothing. It's not going to be a big issue. Yeah. Yeah. Outspaced. Alright, there we go. That, I would say, did not need to be a drive rush cancel. I mean, the beauty of, like, crouch medium punch like that, okay, so this is an offense-related thing. If you're pretty close like that, you don't need to cancel this, because if you're, like, that close to the opponent anyways, on counter hit, you'll just get the confirm anyways. So, like, these are instances where you don't need to spend drive gauge, at all. And even if it's on block, the beauty of crouching medium punch is that it has a shitload of pushback. So even if you're point blank and you do it, you push back to -2, you're at this distance, you can fuck off. And, like, what can you do? Nothing. Okay, so a lot of Dulcim players. So in order to be ready for the teleports are a little bit awkward. Stand jab, so that was a high up one, so this is the one that's harder to deal with. Stand jab would not have worked here. Back medium punch or air to air. Air to air is a good option here, because again, his most threatening stuff when he's in the air is when you're on the ground. So if your anti-air gets beat or whiffs, that's the most dangerous thing. But if you try to air him and you just get hit by something, that's not bad. And then it'll reset the situation. You can clearly see what's going to happen after that fact. So yeah, when he teleports, I would recommend going for jumping medium punch or jumping throw. But if you can see it, back medium punch, which hits the highest into the air, or if you know what side he's going to be on, uppercut. Now, jumping throw is particularly good, especially in these situations where he's trying to teleport around one of his arcing fireballs or his EX arcing fireball, because obviously it's a throw, it'll take you into a full animation, etc. So, jump throw, very good against teleport. Neutral jump throw, very good when he just does raw teleport like that. Covered by the fireball. Again, like, have a basic list in your head of, like, okay, does this character have something to beat to punish fake gapped drive rush cancels or not, you did not need to do stand jab there, right? Off of low forward drive rush, you don't need to make it a true block string. He doesn't have any XDP. He doesn't have invincible supers, really, until he gets to level 3. So I would say low forward, drive rush, stand heavy punch, back medium punch, etc. You don't have to do stand jab there. And the value of being able to do the gapped ones is very high, relatively speaking. All right, that was good. Okay, totally worth it. All right, you do a raw spiral arrow, you get hit by one hit of like a fireball or something. Nothing. You take like no damage from it. It's totally fine. Wake up, parry it, and then, you know, it's all good. Parry on wake up so that his teleport can't do anything. Yeah, when he gets into the close range, the liability of him being able to do like these quick floats into whatever. Now, when they try to go for quick floats to shimmy you, okay, the threat is much more, just practice like reacting to that on the knockdown so that if you do like, so that if the Dhalsim player does like whatever, you can react to it and float him out of it, okay? If they go for this as their shimmy attempt, the threat is much higher for them than it is for you. Because if you just accept the throw, you just take a throw, which either resets you to neutral or maybe continues some offense. But if you just wait for him to float and then just do like back medium punch or something, you've got a lot of options. So yes, put that in training mode as well. Put him like these knockdown scenarios or these pressure scenarios and then react to punishing the quick float that he'll try to do for shimmies. The risk reward is totally not in Dhalsim's favor if you're prepared to punish it when you see it. Just take the throw a lot of the time and then punish his fucking shimmy attempts. And then as soon as he's de-incentivized to do it, because it's just not worth it. Okay, that is another kind of gimmicky thing that Dhalsim players will do. Where they'll do like the rolling head thing into the teleport, into either fireball or teleport back. This one you can just spiral arrow pretty reliably. Again, this matchup, not good for Sim. So yeah, you can air approach when he's in the air, and you can take like a fucking million hits. Alright, you can take like fucking 5 hits before it's really that risky for you, and you can really shut down a lot of his fucking fireball stuff. Again, inverse situation. When he's in the air, the riskiest thing you can do is ground approach. When he's on the ground, the riskiest thing you can do is get counter hit on your air approach. When he's on the ground, he's technically more threatening because he could also punish you for a grounded approach better with crouching medium punch into whatever, or try to confirm that into like a drive rush cancel or something. But when he's in the air, a lot of that stuff is like kind of not that serious. His air approach is meant to try to punish you for a sudden ground approach, like to whiff punish your spiral arrows by getting above you, or get above you on your grounded approach. It's not really that hard of, like, it's not that deadly of zoning all around. Yeah, yep, that's a good option as well, to low floats. Again, these low floating fucking Dhalsim players are using float suboptimally. DI is a great option against low floaters like this. But Garnet will not do low floats most of the time. Nice-oo. Let's see, out of this scenario, okay, yeah. That, you could have gotten a better conversion for DI punishing a floating opponent. Here, let's So when you catch them out of the air with a DI like this, you just did that, which is 1860 whatever. You could do that if you're pretty close to the corner, which is an extra 2,000 damage, significant increase in damage. If you're not sure about the spacing, do back roundhouse into drive rush this. That's also very solid. Okay, so. Okay, this, good. Would have maybe been worth it to do a drive rush cancel here to convert this. Against Dalsum, I would definitely recommend just going nuts with the Hooligan mix-ups. Hooligan mix-up is quite good. Alright, he just messed that up, but that could have been a bad situation. So you had this for this. This is, I totally agree with this. So crouch strong, drive rush cancel into this. Optimal conversion. Again, it's your choice. I do think Hooligan mix-ups are broadly worth it against characters with no EX invuln DPs and such. Now, in this situation, I believe you could have killed meterlessly. Now, this is a scenario where if you had done like the proper shimmy with the stand medium punch instead, you probably could have killed. Actually, you probably could have killed with just this. Okay, so you have like 3.1 bars, 3.4 bars, or whatever. Yes, that's exactly what you did. So that was 3129. Now, if you just done this into that, it would have killed him. Basic, just drive rush, crouch fierce, stand fierce, drive rush, back roundhouse, etc. Probably would have killed him, added an extra like 600 damage. But if you'd done the stand medium punch route, it would have added an extra 100 damage or 80 damage off of that. And yeah, that would have pretty much been good. Also, level 1 definitely would have killed. I would recommend... Now, even with the life lead in this fucking game, I would recommend just spending level 1. To take round 1, especially. Like, even if you lose the next round, you'll easily build back the bar of super that you used anyways, so... Yeah, misconversion there. Again, these are scenarios that you can just lab out so that you don't fuck these up again. Yeah, these are situations that you can just put them into training mode, do the move, put them on random block, put them on random counter hit, etc., and just lab them until your hands never fuck this up. So heavy knuckle, counter hit, crouch medium punch is the conversion. Crouch medium punch, every time. So just put these exact scenarios where like you see these things, you get a clear conversion and you're getting drops by doing the wrong action afterwards, or even a suboptimal action, like if you were to do stand light kick there when you could have done crouch medium punch, would have been suboptimal. So yeah, just put those in there. That's an easy thing to pick up. Now this, you get a float with a stand jab. Now, in this situation, you just go for a raw spiral arrow, which is fine. At this height, you could have done a jumping medium punch. You could have done a jumping medium punch into dive kick, which would have been slightly better. You don't necessarily want to do like spend another drive, like more drive gauge on this combo because you're a little bit low and you want to just use it to regenerate drive gauge. But you also could have done a level 2 route here. You could have done jump medium punch into level 2. And that would have regenerated more drive gauge for you and put him closer to burnout. So that would have been an option to go for. Again, these are situations where you just lab them out and until your hands are so automatic with it. Not that situation, that's just like whatever, that's fine. But this situation, counter hit crouch fierce should go into stand fierce, right? Should go into stand fierce or maybe in certain situations back roundhouse. So in this instance, you probably can kill, but it should have been into stand fierce, at the very least. Will this kill? No, but Stand Fierce it would have killed. So you did 5-4-5-5, and this would have been optimal at 5-7-0-6. So about 250 damage decrease, more than enough to kill him in that circumstance. $200 damage is nothing to sneeze at, so in terms of optimization. Alright, he should be dead soon. You got, what, low forward on this? Clearly it's not what you wanted, and then how did you got hit here? Now, it's basically impossible for him to survive here, but you could have, yeah, just... Okay, yep. Alright, so anyways, that's like some notes on that match. And yes, in terms of your offense, right? When we talking about offense, optimization, just put every single one of these scenarios, every one of your meaty setup for meaty stay and medium punch, right? After your spiral arrows or your uppercuts in the corner, you have these meaty setups, so you go into stand medium punch. And I would say the majority of the time, when you land your stand medium punch as a meaty, in those scenarios, you are not converting it optimally, and most of the time, you're not even converting it much at all. So just put those in, put your crouch fierce in, put counter hit on random, block on random, put heavy knuckle in. These are scenarios where you are very, very frequently not getting the optimal route, and these are not difficult scenarios or anything. You just have to bang them into your brain. So these are very easy things to immediately improve with just like put, you know, a couple of minutes in a training mode a day on those. Alrighty, nexto. Just trying to focus on offense. Okay, no anti-air. You hit it like a late button on a late jumping button or something. So far the issue has been, you know, neutral and defense. So whatever. Got hit by that. Cheeky reset. Fake drive rush not punished with an EXDP. YOLO sweep, that's fine. I'm pretty sure that's a fake driver. I don't want to talk about my ass, but I think that one's fake as well. Yeah, that's fake. There's a big gap there. Alright, you gotta punish. Yeah. This is a scenario that I would look for fake drive rushes a lot, because the block stun into drive rush cancel on that like overhead target combo, very low. She has to do a light. She has to do a 4-framer to do a true block string here. That's punishable, yep. -5. Alright, so now we're on to the question of your offense. So great punish, ideal punish, meaty throw, confirmo. Depends on whether or not you want to strongly fight for this round at this point. I would say probably be worth it. But optimally, that should have been into a level 1. Those 3 lights. Now, again, shimmy with a low damage conversion with just crouch jab. Like, if you're already committing to the shimmy, like, just commit to looking for the thing. Like, if you're right, which you frequently are, right, on these shimmy attempts or whatever, but you're rarely getting max damage, or a lot of the times even close to max damage. Let alone max, like, drive gauge management, etc. So, I'm pretty sure you could kill him here if you just did the optimal. Yeah, we just covered this. You have more than 3 bars. You could kill him meterlessly here. Alright, should kill. Yep, beautiful. And great punish. Great awareness on the EX drill punish. Alright, nice. And then you went for a throw and it was teched. That's fine. Nice-oo. Level 1 is, again, okay, if we're talking about offense, this is the most important thing. I know you talked to me, you know, all those weeks ago or whatever, that you've like started doing this and you really like it, but I demonstrated with the Excel sheets and stuff, mathematically, there is very little value in doing this, relatively speaking. In doing this stand heavy punch target combo into the level 1, there is almost no instance where it is worth it relative to the value that the super adds, because in this particular conversion, the super does not do, each hit of the target combo scales the damage. So even for a short combo like this, your level 1 is only going to be adding a small amount of damage. You are not currently close enough to the corner, and even if you were, there's only a tiny, like a little speck of corner carry that the level 1 adds compared to just doing the medium spiral arrow anyways. And level 1 in this instance does not even help you with drive gauge recovery. In fact, the medium spiral arrow would regenerate more, because when it hits on hit, it would regenerate you a chunk of drive gauge. So I do not ever endorse any instance of doing this stand heavy punch target combo into this level 1. I do not think it's worth it. Instead, I would have preferred seeing a level 2 route here. So neutral jump. Okay, we're talking about offense. Every time you have level 2, okay, because remember, level 1s and level 2s are like the most optimal ways of spending your drive gauge. If you get like a full jump in like that, level 2 is the way to go. So, and if you get smaller conversions or like air-to-air conversions or stuff like that, level 1 and level 2 are both really good. But if you get like a full fucking dive kick in, a full jump punish, whatever, if you have like the full capacity to land, stand heavy punch or whatever, level 2 is how you want to spend your supers. So this into back roundhouse, jump, level 2, and then fucking put him in the goddamn corner with a ton of damage. So again, you're like about this far away from the corner. Maybe a little bit further. Okay, so 4,270 damage. That's for 2 drive gauge bars. You had about 3.5 bars, so you would have built 1 and spent 2, so it would have put you at 2.5, which is perfectly fine, and it would have given you the corner. It would have given you the corner and done 4,200 damage. Whereas this one that you're doing is like a very low value per bar of super and does not give you the corner. Not Oki plus the corner. And then let's see, your offense after this. So offense, part of defense. Offense, missing anti-airs when they jump out of the corner. Huge gap, huge weakness in your offense, right? This is a circumstance where you did, let's see, driver stand fierce into back medium punch, and then you're -1 here, and he did a 7-framer, and he's like at 1.5 bars of drive gauge. I would say stand light kick here. So let me demonstrate. So if Manon is low on drive gauge, and you get like block or whatever, stand light kick. And then if she block reversals with crouch medium punch or stand medium punch, which are both 7-framers, into more harassment. So stand light kick would be a good thing to bully with in that instance. Now, part of this is just the reality of fighting Manon. There's not that many instances where you can complete a block string on block and avoid her crouching or standing medium punch. There's just not that many sequences where you can finish your block string, you're minus, and then you can somehow completely avoid her standing medium punch, which means that to deal with her standing medium punch or her, to a lesser extent, her crouching medium punch, you either have to accept it on block sometimes and, like, try to drive reversal her options afterwards, or just accept a little bit on block, deal with her drive rush cancels afterwards, or you have to try to avoid finishing your block strings and instead use larger gaps between your buttons and your sequences that are not viable to get hit. So use gaps that are viable to get hit by a 4-framer from Manon, but not a 7-framer. So for instance, maybe instead of doing crouch medium punch into drive rush, stand heavy punch, which leaves you somewhat viable. You can do this, but the light kick doesn't go into anything unless you do another drive rush cancel. Whatever. But this will stop her from doing her 7-framer. But anyways, but instead of doing that, and then being at the mercy of trying to avoid her 7-framer once you're minus, you could instead put more gaps into your pressure, which are only going to lose to the Manon doing earlier 4-framers or 5-frame options. So, like, crouch strong, drive rush into crouch fierce, which has, like, a 4-frame gap, right? Or whatever. But so long as it's not a 7-frame gap, she has to confirm off of her lights, which don't give her, like, the best conversions of the strongest Oki, especially if she doesn't have enough gauge to drive rush cancel them. So, part of the problem is Manon's standing medium punch is just really fucking good, and her stand light kick is really good, but she needs drive gauge to be able to YOLO drive rush cancel it on defense. So if she's low on drive gauge, you're pretty good. But again, biggest detriment to your offense here is not like your block string choices or whatever you're doing against that. It is clearly not anti-airing the jump outs of the corner. Okay, that needs to be like jump back, air throw, or at least a crosscut DP or EXDP. Okay, another conversion could have been into level 2, would have been good into level 2 there. Actually, what am I talking about? Level 1 would have been perfect here. You get a perfect setup. You get a perfect. You just do this. You do back roundhouse. Then you spend 1 bar of drive gauge to do the side switch combo. So yeah, level 1 when you're in the corner is usually the most valuable thing. So think about it. When you have level 2, any strong like jump in or something that you get, think about level 2 routes by default. If you are in the corner, think about level 1 routes by default. So neutral jump, punish counter. Etc. Even at your drive gauge, it still would have been worth it to spend the 1 bar on that, definitely. And again, that was a fake one. If you had EXDP'd that, that would have been very good. So yeah, when you're all the way into the corner, level 1 is almost always your go-to combo tool. I would say most hits that you land while you are in the corner should be into level 1. There's a route where level 1 is very good. So anyways, you do that, then you neutral jump, and he back jumps again. Happen to clip him, missed anti-air again. So I can't talk about your offense without talking about like your like losing neutral very frequently to missed anti-airs. Alright, that was, you know, mistake, error. Another thing that, you know, happens sometimes, but just drill them over and over until your hands are so bored of it that they're incredibly consistent. Those are things that just raw practice will at least avoid the most frequency of mistakes. So let's see what you did there. You did a drive rush cancel and a crouch fierce, which I like. Oh, you did stand fierce. Okay, in this instance, okay, this is an important thing to understand about stand fierce. When you do stand fierce into drive rush cancel on block, don't hit your button immediately. If you're against like a character that doesn't have an invuln DP, one, Cammy's drive rush stand fierce on block can bait out EXDPs and supers, because if you just do it into blocking, it's only -5. So this is something that you can legitimately put in gaps to. against any character. Except for, like, Luke, because he has a 5-frame super, but whatever. But any character except technically, I guess, Luke, with level 2, you can do this. So don't do Crouch Fierce immediately. Do it with a gap. Do it a slight delay so that there's a gap. So you either go for a throw mix-up, or you do the Stand Fierce, delay Crouch Fierce so that it's a frame trap. So that you regenerate the drive gauge, etc. from it. You don't have to delay it long, just like a little tiny bit, and then it'll be a perfect gap. So, yeah. Little trick that'll help you optimize. Okay, so this was, let's see. Okay, that's fine. That's fine on offense. He did parry. I haven't been counting your scenarios and how frequently you're doing throws. I do think you could spend to do throw. I usually think that you could spend to do throws more often. Lose again to a jump in. It's pretty much all you've lost to for the most part. A couple of, like, fake whatever. Great reaction. Level 1. Beautiful. Yep, that's fine. Hey, you weren't liable to win the round anyways, and you only spent level 1 and he spent level 2. That's not the worst thing. Anti-air? Come on. So those ones, anytime you do a forward approach like that, basically anytime you do a forward approach, drive rush, stand heavy punch, or dive kick, just pump the DP. Just pump the DP every single time. That'll help your offense cover those other escape options. So again, you lost the jump. Conversion. Level 1 makes no sense there, in my opinion. It adds nothing. The scaling was incredibly high. You can't build drive gauge from it because you had already spent a drive rush cancel in this combo. Level 1 does not make any sense here. I usually say level 1 doesn't make sense off of the stand heavy punch target combo. It especially doesn't make sense here. You could have gotten light spiral arrow into medium uppercut, and it would have been, like, way, way better. Punish. And you would have had, like, level 2 for, like, you would have built more super and already had level 2, like a level 1 here. So you would have had level 2 for this conversion, which would have been way, way stronger. Back throw. Just go for throw off of perfect parry anti-air. It's one of the more consistent options. Because they don't have to be, they'll land into the active frames of it, and then the throw will trigger anyways, so. Alright, let's see here. So yeah, back throw here, definitely back throw. That's fine. Anti-air, come, Alright, nice throw, nice throw, nice fake into throw. Alright, good, good, good. I like that little fake, but, you know, not into anything necessarily. You could at least, like, autopilot into, like, a stand heavy kick or something afterwards. If you do a drive rush into a quick short like that. Again, Manon immediately reacted. That's at least information there, right? Manon reacted to your drive rush from far away with stand medium punch. Most likely, Manons are going to react to it with stand medium punch. It's like the most automatic reaction to a drive rush possible, so do that. So then bait it out. Next time you could bait it out and then whiff punish it. How minus is that on? I always forget Manon's frame data. Why do I always forget Manon's frame data? -9. So sweep. Sweep would work here. Definitely would have worked at that spacing that you were at. So sweep or... Not level 1. Nope. Even though it's 9-frame startup, not fast enough in that instance. So level 3 would have probably worked if you had level 3. Whatever. Sweep. Safer. Anyways. So yeah, sweep would have worked there. Could have drive rush canceled. Probably should have drive rush canceled that. Keep up the offense. You get her to block a stand fierce on block. That's great. She had full drive gauge anyways. The parry was unnecessary. It was just trying to fish for an anti-air. Alrighty. Let's see. Okay, that's all normal and stuff, but not particularly aggressive. See, that was not aggressive, and it should have been jump heavy kick instead. And then you would have gotten in. That would have been a big swing. You hesitated. You hesitated on the jab bailout and missed that. Oh, let's see, yeah. Alright, so he did this into a dash, which is fake, so you want to be checking those as reliably as possible. Again, another thing you can put into training mode, just have her do, like, the setup over and over. Alright, so we've got a variety of options that Manon may go for here. So we just loop this over and over. And then we react and jab the dash, and we can just set this up. And check it. And just practice that. And you know the scenarios where they're going to try to steal jumps. It's always off of those knockdowns where all of her dashes are usually fake. So yeah, just practice that. Check it. Shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, bad spacing on the DI, wasn't close enough, and then put you in heavy burnout penalty that then burnt you out shortly afterwards. Yeah, bad spending of drive gauge, especially on the DI. Back throw. Immediate back throw would have worked. Let's see. So immediate back throw would have worked and would have been good. Drive rush into... Yeah. Okay, that, great. Drive rush into a little whiff. She again responded with stand medium punch. But the shock to the system, she wasn't ready for the anti-air afterwards. She did a panic parry. This was a perfect setup. Like, that perfect. Flawless logic. Everything. Random YOLO, like DP, that's fine. That'll happen. The error here is that you did not back roll off of this knockdown, which you definitely need to do, because otherwise Manon gets legitimate Oki from it. But if you had back rolled, she wouldn't have been able to jump over you. So, you didn't back roll off of this, and then you beat the thing, but she was able to get out of the corner. Nice, wait. Yeah, that's fake. You should, this is a scenario where I'm pretty sure Manon is minus enough off of this target combo that if she does a fake thing, which a lot of Manon players constantly do, because if they don't do anything, it's unsafe, right? So, just mash level 1 here. Level 1 will punish this. Even if they drive rush, what can they do? They're minus 12 if they try to block immediately, and if they put anything with a gap, whatever. So just mash level 1. Literally mash level 1. It will beat anything they do. Period. End of story. Mash level 1. Alright, nice. Ooh. Let me see. Off of this conversion for your offense, you could have cornered him with a level 1. So anytime that you see the standing conversion, anytime that you... So this is another tendency. If you do, especially crouch medium kick into drive rush, especially because it's liable to hit people low, which will catch them obviously standing. But anytime you have a level 1 and you do button into drive rush, if they're standing, level 1 will corner anywhere on screen, no matter where you are. There is a route to do. There are one of two routes. So you could have cornered with level 1 and it would have been great. Okay, that one should have been into a level 2 or a level 3. You want to spend it immediately. You had a clean opportunity to spend whatever you wanted. Put her even closer to burnout. So this should have been stand fierce, heavy uppercut, level 3. Plain, simple, immediate. You know, choose your options. When you see your super bars, like you have an idea in your head, these are the only conversions that I'm going to be looking for, period. Especially when you land level 3, your next solid hit, level 3. Unless a level 1 or a level 2 would be better value per super, level 3. Nice. Ooh. Nice. Alright, how'd you get this? Another one. Another fake one. Now, you are just guessing correctly every time against this guy, but you technically could blow up all of these things with EXDPs or level 1s, etc. Level 1 would have been good there. It's not completely guaranteed if the Manon waits and blocks, but Manons are not going to wait and block. I have never seen a Manon wait and block after stand medium punch drive rush, so, it's like never seen a unicorn. Again, you did the stand fierce target combo into the level 1, which I vehemently disagree with in terms of the mathematics of its value per resource. But yes, I would have said level 2 route would be perfect here. Again, neutral jump, back roundhouse, so... Like so. Perfect. Done. Done deal. So, again, clean jump in, level 2, usually perfect. No anti-air on that. When you jump out of a command grab, this is another important point that will be relevant to any grappler. If you jump out of a command grab like this, and you jump backwards specifically, anytime you jump backwards, level 1. Okay, level 1 is the only thing you can punish with. Alright? If you're in range for a roundhouse, you can go for roundhouse. But if you're further out than that, like you will be against Zangief and Lily and stuff, level 1 or level 3. We'll always punish it. On back jump. Yeah, it should kill. Whatever. Alright, easy. You can get something to eat. Guile is another character, less so than Dalsum, but I think it's worth burning yourself out on your own terms against Guile. Burnout is not the worst thing ever against Guile, unless you're already in the corner, in which case it's nightmarish. But if you're just in neutral, and you're like walking him down anyways, you kind of, because you just block so many things, you kind of just recover from burnout pretty fast against Guile, and he doesn't have like the deadliest mix-ups while you're in burnout. So that... No, not in that instance, but... So yeah, you definitely need to bully them with the throw first and foremost. Now, the difficulty of bullying them with the throw is that if they tech, they're back to neutral again. Bully them with the throw or bullying them with strikes. Like I was talking about, shimmy should be your least represented option. Crouch heavy punch or throw should be much more default because they're much more value positive and risk negative. But yeah, flash kick characters will be liable to do that. Again, you did a shimmy. Now, in this instance, this button that he did was negative, but he does have the option to do the overhead target combo afterwards, which would be a frame trap. Yeah, a little couple input errors there, but whatever, not on your offense. Then you got burnt out here. Now, burnout in this instance, you're probably done for. Yep. Now, so far, this guy has just, like, fucking blocked everything, right? He does a little gap, and then he just blocks. He blocks your button, whatever. Again, went for the shimmy, and he just hit a delayed button to, like, stuff it out. Crouch fierce or stand fierce should be your most represented options. I don't know. I don't recall if you've done a throw so far that he's teched. Yeah, that's good. But then after you do 2 of those, then he's liable to do, you know, another button. So you have to take advantage of the +1. Now, in this instance, when you have full drive gauge, just do stand, light kick, drive rush. Would be great here. Stand, light kick, drive rush. Especially since he's low enough on drive gauge for his own actions and your excellent choice of buttons to attack his drive gauge. Flash kick here would burn him out, which would be very good for you. So stand, light kick, drive rush would have been great. Yeah, that's a nice place to shimmy relative to his other options that he's been representing because his low drive gauge changed his defensive decision making. Okay, done, clean. Okay, he just whiffs buttons into more buttons, and the whiff just got you hit. That's fine. Whatever. That's fine. That's not as good, but it's fine. Nice, wake up. That, conversion, etc. Nice conversion. Let's see, you did that into knuckle, into drive rush, into traps. Nice-oo. Beautiful. Okay, that... If it was into, yeah, that was great. That stand fierce, whatever. Now one more one more button would have been great there. Again, like if he flash kicks, you're dead. That's fine. Whatever, it's a risk you have to take. But either like throw or shimmy would have been great there. Or sorry, throw or button would have been great there. One more button on block, especially after like a standing. A lot of like players, especially after like a quick standing reset like this, where it's not off of a big knockdown. Just one more button would have burnt him out, and players will really hesitate in a quick instance like this to gamble everything, because they don't have enough time to look at all the things and see, should I EX dive kick, or should I EX flash kick, will I die if it's wrong? They don't have enough time to calculate that, so they'll be much more hesitant to just randomly throw it out. So one more button would have been great there. Drive rush Oki after the... Drive rush Oki, or at least drive rush into block, would have been good after the anti-air. Alright, you should kill. Easily, yep. Okay, that should have been into a drive rush cancel. If you land any medium in your full drive gauge in the corner, any medium or heavy on contact, might as well go into at least a knuckle. But when you're full bar, yeah, probably just drive rush cancel. If you do it every single time, then the opponent is liable to wait for it and then drive reversal it. There are some options against that, but not great options without supers, etc. But yeah, at least into knuckle. Nice-oo. Yep, into level 1. Perfect. It's fine. Anti-air? Okay, it's fine. Should have been into a drive rush cancel, would have been good. You had full bar, and the value added from getting 2 lights into a drive rush cancel is fairly high relative to off of other stuff. Okay, bad conversion. Alright, that's clearly an error that should not have happened. Clearly a combo error that should not have happened if you drilled your combos into consistency. Alright, let's see. How'd you get your next hit? Okay. Nice-oo. Nice. Alright, you need to, at this point, burn yourself out on your own accord. But burnout could kill you here. So, yeah, either do what you're doing and, like, give up space to get drive gauge back. Giving up space is not the worst thing in the world, even against a zoner like Isle, because, like, the number of scenarios in this game where you're liable to just get a big hit anyways or side switch easily is pretty high, so giving up space to get drive gauge back is okay. But you can't give up life at this point. Or anything else. Oh, that should have been the crouch hit. That could have killed. That should have killed. Could have been into... So it was a counter hit. So again, the same situation that we're talking about. Got to be confirming these counter hits. Counter hit into crouch medium punch. Into... I'm not sure if you would have had 2.9 or like 3.1 bars at that point. But definitely crouch medium punch at that instance. Then into drive rush. Maybe you could have gotten a double drive rush. If you could have gotten a double drive rush, you could have probably killed him with a level 2. But in any case, you definitely could have killed him with a level 3, no matter what you did. And converting off that counter hit heavy knuckle into immediately, like, defaulting your hands to convert into crouching medium punch would give you more mental time to calculate, to look at your resources and calculate, oh, I can kill. I should kill. Now, in the best of circumstances, you should already, like, before you take an action, you should already glance at your resources and see if you can kill, if it works out. So, when the opponent starts to get low on health, you should look at, okay, I have 2.5 bars of super and, like, 2.9 bars of drive gauge. If I do this action and it lands this hit, I will be able to build up to a level 3, and with 2 drive rush cancels, I can kill from this range. So, like, you should already be kind of planning out your kill routes as soon as your opponent gets into a low enough health range anyways. So that when you did that heavy spin knuckle, you could know, okay, if it's a punish counter, which is liable to happen, or just a counter hit or something, or even just a non-counter hit, I can kill off of this with a drive rush route. Alright,